All right, everyone, remember a couple of days ago when Trump announced that he was going to delay the mass deportation of over 1 million people who no longer qualify for asylum under U.S. law because there's a safe third country, namely, I believe, Honduras at this point? It was funny as fuck. Was it Honduras or Guatemala that was doing that? One of the two, I remember, one of these Central American states. Anyway, now we no longer have to take applicants that are seeking asylum from points south, which is about half of the people that are seeking asylum. In fact, actually, I think it's more because of Venezuela specifically. I know there are a lot of asylum seekers from Nicaragua and Venezuela, and from other points south, in Brazil, Colombia, and so forth. A little bit less, probably from Guyana, Peru, and places like that. It's amazing how someone will walk 2,000 miles to escape socialism. But yeah, that's a conversation for a different day, or every other week, basically, because it sucks so bad. But anyway. Some people are black-pilled at this point. They're like, well, Trump's never going to stop the illegal immigration. Trump's never going to actually do anything with the border. And I've tried to point out to the Ann Coulters whining about this, that Trump has been hamstrung by the court system. He cannot constitutionally circumvent that. He has to wait for SCOTUS. But he's extremely intelligent at developing ways to go around the normal procedures and use his executive abilities to get this accomplished. Number one was with Mexico, getting them to deploy more troops on their border. They're guarding that better. They're cracking down within the country, trying to keep things a little bit more sane, a little more orderly. So that's win number one. Secondly, he gets his safe third country. That's going to severely reduce the number of applicants for asylum. He's done two things that will reduce the number of people flowing into the country by at least half. And so those detention centers fairly quickly are not going to be overburdened. It'll be more streamlined, more efficient. We'll be able to dedicate more time to processing each individual. It'll be safer. Our country has been made safer as a result of these. And it didn't even require Congress, which is reluctant to do jack shit, to actually do anything. Right now, Congress refuses to do its job. They haven't been doing their job for several years now. We have essentially a defunct Congress in this country right now. And we have a situation where our chief executive has tried to work around the fact that Congress basically does not wish to actually legislate as necessary for the functions of our republic. And he gets shot down by the Ninth Circuit. So now he has to go through SCOTUS or through other countries. He has to either wait for the Supreme Court, which could take fucking years, because it's such a slow inefficiency. They should be forced to be in session more often and deliberate less in order to make these decisions. At some point, something has to give. The fact that we have a Senate to slow down the legislature, a president to veto things and slow it down even more is fine. But at some point, the SCOTUS, it's too important, some of these decisions. The executive branch should be able to submit a letter of expedition twice a year so that a decision gets taken up immediately and jumps to the head of the line. Why don't we have a situation like that? Create one new little executive power. It's not like it forces them to decide in favor of whatever the executive branch wants. It's just, this is important. Please make a decision because it's, basically life or death at this point. But it's funny to see all the black-pilled people saying that him delaying deportation is evidence that he cocked out hard, as Fuentes put it. No, it's not. It's evidence that he's a master negotiator and you should know better. If you look at the situation with Mexico and the maneuver that Trump made there, which was masterful, or if you look at any of these other decisions he's making, he keeps doing this over and over. And every time people screech in a black-pilled rage about him cucking out or being just another neocon, and each time they're proven wrong, it's just like with Iran. I pointed out, hey, this looks like a Trump 4D chess maneuver. He's trying to give Iran an easy way out from being struck, basically. That's exactly what he did. It worked. All of these people saying that magically Trump had become a warmonger. He was clamoring to destroy his own political career by starting a war for no reason so that he could justify all of the worst claims of, against the Bush Republicans. Everyone who thought that was wrong. And I laughed at them, and I chuckled. Ben Shapiro had to come out and say he was wrong. Of course, on the Iran issue, he was hoping that there'd be strikes. And then he whined about the fact that there weren't. Because Ben Shapiro wants World War III because it makes for good radio or something, or good podcasting. Is he actually on the radio? I don't even know that much about his structure, of his show. I know he's got there's a YouTube presence that he has that's pretty powerful, and I think he's got a podcast. Is he on, actual syndicated radio, though? Maybe he's on Sirius or something. I'm not even 100% sure. I know Pac-Man's actually on radio. It'd be funny to see them have a show together. They seem to agree in spirit on a lot of stuff. I mean, that's the way neocons are. A neocon is just a liberal who pretends to be a conservative anyway. They're the same fucking thing. Not even a real liberal. Not a classical liberal, just a corporatistic one that wants private entities to abuse you because they realize government must be limited because corporations want to get in on the fun of being authoritarian too. Maybe a church now and then also. It'd be funny if they throw some elements of theocracy back into the mix, like a Bush Republican or something, pretending to be Jesus. But yeah, Trump isn't cucking out. He's negotiating. He's trying to get Congress to do its job. This is a last-ditch effort before they go on recess. Let him try. If they hammer out a deal that's shitty, he probably won't sign it. He'll say, no, all right, I gave you your chance. I'm just going to go. It's astonishing to me. People, especially on the left, they don't seem to see a problem with the fact that the President of the United States has more success working with the Mexican government than with his own legislature. Don't you see how this is a problem? Mexico, of all places, I thought that Trump hated Hispanics, and he was like, orange man bad, and he hates ethnic minorities. He's like, a total bigot. He seems to be getting along famously with them. His negotiations with other countries, despite the fact that they supposedly hate him, the legacy media keeps telling me that people in every other country hate Trump, and yet he seems to get along with them more than with our own governance structure. It's our government and our legacy media that has a problem with him. Meanwhile, his approval's still twice that of Macron or Merkel, and probably 4 times that of Theresa May at this point. By the way, Brexit's still looming for around the Halloween season, which would be funny. By the way, I was wrong. The bombs don't fall in the Fallout universe on Halloween. They just fall very close to it. Maybe that'll happen this year. That would be funny. I want post-apocalyptic Halloween decorations. I want the scarecrow to glow, and not because some factory put, phosphorescence all over it. I want it to grow for radioactive reasons because it'd be funny. That's about all. Peace out.